Hello once again, everybody. It's been some time, but welcome to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode for the first time in what feels like ages, of course, a shout out to our sponsors, question mark, that help us bring this to you for free each
Question
and every
mark.
week.
We're back, baby. We're back. We don't know if we have sponsors still. We're back, though. So we'll be sending you a fucking bill.
They help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. At least they used to.
They did for a time.
Thanks to Angelo's Pizza. Look, I don't know that their dining room is open right now, but I do know they're still doing takeout and delivery.
It's currently not open. They did a close down. I've been keeping up. They did a close down. They're doing pickup and delivery only. But
there you go.
We haven't needed pizza in about 7 months.
Yeah. So you can also get Angelo's Pizza in that manner by going to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in beautiful Lakewood, Ohio. Thanks to Pollyanna DIY.
Question mark. who at some point during the quarantine went out of business, but I still plan on asking him for pins when we need some. So hopefully he has the same email. He's still on Twitter, so maybe he's reconsidered going out of business. If you're a listener, tweet, Instagram, Facebook, Pollyanna DIY, and tell him, hey man, stay in business.
So there's that. Used to make us some great enamel pins. He may still in the future, as John pointed out.
Question mark.
We'll see. And let's see. All thanks to Manscaped.
Maybe.
Listen, it's been so long since we have done a podcast that Manscaped now has the Lawnmower 3.0 for you,
which they have not sent us.
But you could try it. I think you could still use the code Absolute and get a discount or
buy something so we could see if they're going to send us any money.
It is a great look. It's a great.
What else we got? Ebtide Treatment Center.
Ebtide Treatment Center.
They still owe us some money.
Have not talked to them in years.
We never got the last check.
There's a big last check too.
I know. That would have floated us through all of quarantine.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, there's
thrift store jobber promo code worldwide still active. Worldwide's retired. Still active.
Who else we got? Of course, Smart Mark Video and IWTV. One thing that is for sure still around, and you can still use the code Absolute for a 5-day free trial.
Yeah, use that. They actually have been. They've been sending checks during the hiatus.
Yeah, you can go to smartmarkvideo.com and purchase AIW DVDs and MP4 downloads. You can also, again, sign up for IWTV using the code Absolute. Get yourself a 5-day free trial.
We also during, I don't even know how long it's been since we podcasted, which we will probably get into on this episode, but every single AIW release ever is now officially available on smartmarkvideo.com. They even found these 2 shows that were never released that were on some hard drive that Chandler Biggins sent them years ago. I think they found it, deep in the, deep warehouse of the Smart Mark Video headquarters. And it's pretty crazy because it was a show that I totally forgot happened. It was a Battle Bowl show from like 2007 and a show from Taylor, Michigan, that has the Honky Tonk Man on it. Honky Tonk Man from that show is from the epic Honky Tonk Man stories that were talked about heavily on this podcast with Chandler Biggins. Absolute Redemption, I believe it's called, available for the first time ever on smartmarkvideo.com. Buy them because it's a piece of history, I suppose.
Here's what people really want to know. Is the Best of John Thorne anthology on there?
It is not. It is not available. It is not available. There is some questionable material on there that, I don't want getting out in case I ever want to run for president.
So, yeah, thanks for tuning in to AIW's The Car is Going to Change. He is AIW owner John Thorne.
I'm feeling rusty.
My name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. Yeah, a little bit, but it feels good to be back in this. I'd say this chair, but I'm always in this chair.
I did Stacy Silver's podcast like a week or two ago.
Yeah,
and it got the juices flowing a little bit. We did a really long conversation, and I was like, man, I got all this fucking equipment. We haven't used it, in forever. So
you're talking about was that John Carpenter stuff, right?
I did that one at some point early in the quarantine, and then we just did Halloween 1978 on his podcast. It's called Super Fantastic. I'm sure if you just type those words in to Google, it'll take you right there. I don't know anything else named Super Fantastic. But yeah, so that was like the first podcast I've really done in a while. It's been a while.
Before we get too deep, John, I've just received a response text message, so I gotta give a shout out here because as of this recording, but as you folks will listen to it, we are a few days removed, but nonetheless, happy birthday to our champ Shayna Baszler.
Happy birthday! Is it her birthday? Is it her birthday at this time?
It is at this time. Yes.
All right. She just sent me her new phone number not that long ago. She's really interested in the potato saga, which we will not get into on this podcast.
Of course,
but she wanted a full breakdown.
Yeah, somebody hacked whoever the son of a bitch is that hacked and got Shayna's phone number. Screw you. Also, what a mistake on your part if she ever finds out who you are.
Yeah, what a dummy.
Yeah, that was like around WrestleMania or something. I think she had to switch it, which was...
Yeah, she gave it to me, but I'm really bad at storing numbers. I'm really bad at storing numbers. Like, I'm that guy that will look at his text message and will say maybe in a name because they said hey, this is whoever at one point in the text message. I'm that guy. But
we've all seen the screenshots of your phone and the amount of messages unread.
I got 162 right now.
But you know what's nice? I feel like you deserve some applause for that because, I will see a message real quick and open it, but be doing something, and then forget to ever go back to it. At least you know that these exist, and at some point you can look and be like, oh yeah, let me. You have that sort of reminder, I guess. I don't know.
I just let all my notifications go wild, honestly. They do. I'm not, they're not controlling my life. I'm controlling them. The notifications on my phone. That's how I live. It's, I don't know. I was going to say something and I forgot, but it's been a while. It has been a while.
We stopped in April.
April we recorded a bunch, and then
maybe was the last time anything was out. I don't know, man.
I don't know either. It's just it's just been crazy. Honestly, it's just been it's been a crazy time. But we're back. We're doing a show, I guess.
We're back in a lot of ways. We're doing a show. Also, we should throw out there because we talked about IWTV this Thursday at 8 p.m. You talk about Smart Mark has all of the AIW shows now, and IWTV starts from the very beginning. Thursday at 8 p.m. you can stream the AIW debut show.
Oh boy. The absolute debut, streaming live to tape for the first time ever.
Do you ever
Thursday
remember
at 8 p.m.
What's all on that right now?
I remember some of it. I wrestled EC3 on it. I know that.
There you go.
Other than that,
that's it. You knew what you did. You knew what you did, and that's about it.
JT Lightning's in the first match. I know that. I remember that.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know.
Well, hey, anyway, you guys can watch it, and if you don't have an IWTV subscription, you can sign up. Like we told you before, use the code Absolute, get a 5-day free trial. So do that. Why wouldn't you? And watch the Absolute debut at 8
Yeah,
p.m.
because
on
we got to get everybody back in the swing of things of AIW for at least a month. So here we are.
Yeah,
we have at least a month.
how did this happen, John? Because of the situation in Ohio, we weren't going to do anything. We were trying to figure out when, if ever. We're talking, in our conversations, we're talking 2021 summer, maybe.
I mean, and we'll probably get into all that, but this whole thing came together like pretty quickly. Like it was announced and then figured out later, sort of thing. Like it was just kind of like, I was at work on like Wednesday, I think, last week, and like I got a couple phone calls from Nate Webb, and I was like, I can't. I'm at work, like. Sometimes Nate Webb will just call you. He'll be drunk in the middle of the day, and I was just like, I can't really talk right now, or he's cooking something. He's a phone call guy, and I was like, I'm at work right now. I'll call you later. And then I got a message from Brett Lauderdale and was like, hey, do you want to do a doubleheader? Yada yada yada, on this date at this time, and I was like, oh man, I don't know, and like. Because obviously there's a lot of concerns with what's going on in the world.
Oh yeah,
and it's over 4 hours away, and there's all this stuff going on, and it's like a month out. So it's just like fuck. Like it's kind of like my brain has been shut off to like all this like quick thinking, quick acting, decision making. Because it's like, I mean, like everybody else, like we're all kind of like, I feel like everyone's just turning into a zombie for the last 6 months. You just like, you do nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, I don't know, like, and, I asked you and some other people, and, a lot of people raised concerns, and other people raised some pros, and sitting around, and I literally at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I got a follow up like, so what do you think? And I was just like, fuck it, I'm in. And like I was like, fuck it, we're in. And I don't know, like it was just like, I was just like, okay, I need a graphic. I need to come up with a show name. We need to set ticket levels. Like how many tickets can we have? Like, all this other shit, like, even right now, like we're trying to get a streaming deal set up with Fight, but it's not even done yet because we're so behind on everything, because this thing, like, when I say this thing came together quickly, it came together so quick. Like,
yeah,
we're really just like, we're fucked. Like we can't do a show. Like we were like looking into other states, but then it's like, what are the rules there? And like there's just there's so much planning that goes into it, and the only reason why I even jumped on this is because it's everything's already going to be there, it's already set. So like if we were going to do something on our own, which we were potentially looking into doing, and like hoping for like maybe to do something in October somewhere, like we would need all this lead time to try to, talk to places and figure it out and coordinate. But this is already set up. It's, they've already done shows at this place like 2 times already. So they had everything already lined up. So it's just kind of like a turnkey operation to where, we don't even have to bring our ring. We don't have to do it. Like we just have to show up on, Sunday morning essentially and do it. So, that's why we did it. But it has been such like a emotional roller coaster with the state of Ohio this entire time.
Yeah.
So where like it really like I feel like that was a big reason why it was just like, let's just not fucking do the podcast. Like let's just not do anything. Like we were all kind of, everybody in like the AIW camp was really punched out based on just like the roller coaster of everything going on with COVID-19 and the just kind of like the state regulations have been flip-flopping so much in the state of Ohio, and it's just like, okay, like here we go, like we're gonna figure out what we can do, and then nothing, and then it's like, okay, now this is gonna happen, we're gonna get an idea of what we can do, and then nothing. And like that happened like 5 or 6 times at least over, you know, the last 6 months. And it was just kind of like, it really was just like mentally beating me down. And I know it has, you know, had that effect on other people as well, because, you know, it was just like, we're paused, you know what I mean? And it's just like, people don't realize, you know, like we still got to pay our rent, and, you know, we still got to pay for that wrestling school and that people haven't been allowed to train at. And, you know, we still had to pay for, you know, storage and, you know, all this other stuff. So, you know, we have thousands of dollars that we're burning through every month, and like, we're not getting any sort of government kickback assistance or anything like that. It's just kind of like, you know, and people like, oh, you know, it's just indie wrestling, like whatever. I mean, it's a business, you know what I mean? Like this isn't like the indie wrestling of, you know, the fucking, you know, I don't know, VFW hall in front of 15 people. Like, this is like a legitimate business, and there are, you know, things in place that, you know, I'm obligated to pay and, you know, take care of. So it's been just like so stressful. And, you know, stuff with like the Ohio Athletic Commission, and, you know, they won't advocate for anything. And it was just so, it's just been so crazy to deal with. And, you know, honestly, I think part of why I said, yeah, like we'll do the show in Indianapolis is just like to kind of like, I don't know, like get that feeling of like, I don't want to say like being alive again, because that's like not it, but like just like
purpose.
getting back in like the swing of things when you're like, you know, everybody I'm sure is the same. Like, you know, you, if you can still go to work, you go to work, you come home and you do nothing. And then you go to work, you come home and you do nothing. Like, you can't really do anything. So like, I just like, just to kind of just have something to look forward to and do, I think was ultimately why I said, yeah.
You know, it's crazy to think about right now, but if we were to run a show in Ohio as of right now, the way things stand, there are no bars. Bars are not allowed to serve drinks after 10 p.m. and they're pulled at 11. So that means if we had a show at our regular scheduled times, we couldn't really have an after party either.
Right. I mean, there's, you know, and that's another crazy thing to think about. And, yeah, you know, it's like all like Good Company, I'm sure, is struggling right now as well. You know, like there's like every business, which is struggling.
They've moved to doing some delivery stuff and everything there. And Jonah obviously has always been very good to us. So if you are looking for something to eat, or you're a fan and you miss the Good Company after parties and getting food there, look them up, check them out, because they are doing some stuff. And serving food. And
no third-party delivery services. They're just doing their own. They bought their own delivery truck, and they'll just deliver food to you on the weekends, I guess, or they do curbside pickup on the weekends. But yeah, I mean, it's such a crazy time right now.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, listen, everybody who is on the AIW Facebook sees that there are a couple guys that have been just really going at us about like safety and you know, we want to kill people and all this other stuff. Like, listen, like we are taking extreme precautions for this event in Indianapolis, and if you don't feel safe, do not come. Honestly, like we're not telling everybody, hey, you have to come to this show, and honestly you can't, because it's going to be extremely limited. You know, we're running this gigantic outdoor space and we're limiting it to like 30% capacity. You know, like it's and really
masks, even though we are
masks
outside,
are required.
Masks are required, and then on top of that, explain how the ticketing has been worked out.
So we are doing like all the seating is going to be set up for social distancing. Instead of doing 65 front row or whatever it is, we're going to do 40, but it's going to be set up in clusters. So like if you come with a party of 4 people, you can buy a 4-pack of front row tickets, but then the next grouping of people is going to be very spread out from you. And, we're not piling people on top of each other. Like I said, this is a gigantic field. It's like an amphitheater. So people are going to be really spread out. Hopefully there's going to be nothing even available at the door. So, everything's going to be sold in advance. Seating is going to be set up in advance. Like it's not going to be like a free for all. We're running in and we're grabbing the best seat. Like seats are going to be assigned. We're going to have, we're taking every precaution that we can do, obviously. And
we are doing temperature checks
at the door. And listen, I know that this is going to get its detractors. I understand that. And, you are wholeheartedly entitled to your opinion, but we have to do something. Just from a business standpoint, we have to raise some money. Like we've done a lot to try to raise money throughout quarantine and stay afloat, and people have bought merch here and there, and we need to do a show. And if people think that that's shitty or whatever, I get it, but it's something that I felt was going to be in the best interest for AIW long term, as opposed to, like we said, Ohio events, it would appear, are not going to be permitted to happen till at least kind of deep into 2021. And we just could not sustain that.
And that's the thing. If we could do an Ohio event outdoors safely somewhere, sure, we would do it. But that's not allowed right now.
Right. And, I presented that to the athletic commission. Other promoters presented several different proposals, and, let's, give us a chance to try it, and say like, no, they won't do that. They won't advocate either way. It's just kind of like, hey, we're just waiting for the governor to say pro wrestling can happen, which is never going to be a statement that is said by the governor ever. So, it's just kind of been frustrating to, actually take time and, look at what's going on, and, seeing all these other businesses operate. Like, I understand, like, everyone hates Walmart operates, but, whatever. Like, that's always everyone's argument. But there is some truth to that when, we've all gone and we've seen the gigantic capacity in these places, in which there is no social distancing or even most of the time mask wearing. So, it's just kind of like, maybe it's selfish or whatever, but when you are a business owner, there is some kind of like, well, I know that I can present this in the way that the science is explaining things need to move forward, and all, the doctors are saying you have to do these things in order to move forward. We can present that. We can present the show with social distancing and mask requirements and, everything that everyone is talking about. And, with Ohio, it's just kind of like, just give us the opportunity to try and show, like even states that have much stricter athletic commissions are, Whiskers is pissed about it too.
Whiskers has not jumped on the podcast in forever. She's ready to go, man.
But, states with even like much more strict athletic commissions are even hosting events. New York was, ground zero for COVID-19. They're having indie shows. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, every state around us is having shows, except Ohio. You know, you can find shows in Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, Indiana, Michigan, and you know, there's plenty of other states, and it's just kind of like we're in limbo, and you know, like we're not going out there and, you know, having a fucking regular pack 'em in AIW show. That's not our intention. And listen, like I said, if you feel strongly about it, I get it. You don't have to yell at me about it. Like we are perfectly capable of, you know, doing two different things and thinking two different ways. And I know that we can do it in a safe manner. And, you know, if you want to yell at me on Facebook, feel free, I guess. But the show is moving forward at this point.
Well, and that's the thing, too, for people to know and understand. We have always tried to look out for everyone that comes to our shows. And this decision would not have been made in this manner if we didn't think it could be done safely. And that's the key point right there.
Right. And, you know, it's just like, it's not like, hey, you know, do you want to come do this show in this really, you know, small, confined indoor space? Like, no, it's like, hey, we're going to do the show in this gigantic outdoor open air field. And, you know, we're going to require masks. And
we don't want to get sick either.
No, like,
I think people miss that at times.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's such a contentious thing. And, you know, it's like people either like think it doesn't exist or think, you know, it's going to kill half the population as I read last week.
By the fall.
Yeah, within a month, it's going to kill, you know, 3 point whatever billion people. But, you know, like at some point, whether we like it or not, we have to try to move forward and achieve some sort of normalcy. And honestly, you know, if nobody comes to the show, that's fine. Because for me, mentally, I need to just do this right now. Like, I know that, you know, I said it a little bit, but when you've been doing this forever, like I have, and like you're so used to just like the pressure and, you know, all this other stuff, and then it just stops. And at first it was like, oh yeah, like this is kind of cool. This is refreshing for me. But, you know, like when you're approaching 7 months in, it's not that refreshing anymore. You know, it's just like, You got to kind of like, you know, it's just like anything else. Like it sucks, but, you know, you got to just kind of get back up and get to it and, you know, see what happens. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now.
And with regards to Ohio, you know, in fairness for people who are like, oh, indie wrestling or whatever, if you want to be upset about it, there is nothing in terms of events happening, okay? So concerts not happening. Right now, if the NFL is going to go forward, there's no clue whether or not the Cleveland Browns or Cincinnati Bengals can have fans in the stands during those. You know, high school sports is a question thing. High school football, which is huge in Ohio, they may not be happening because of the gathering of people. So it's not just pro wrestling. But I think the interesting part of that is, John, you talk about, you know, let us do this. We are kind of like down the totem pole and the afterthought after these big things.
We're the afterthought after the afterthought.
But in reality, if you really want to look at things big picture, like if I'm somebody in charge of Ohio and stuff, I think some of it comes down to trust, right? A huge corporation like the NFL, there's trust that they're going to be able to have X, Y, and Z in place and everything. But you can't control 60,000 people coming to your gates and jamming packed to get in there at an NFL stadium. Whereas we can say, hey, we're selling 200 tickets or 250 tickets to this outdoor event. People are going to line up, and they're going to be spaced out when they line up because it's only 200 or 250 people. They can line safely down the street or wherever it is, and they can slowly come in, and we can position them as such that they're in all these different places. So it's almost like we should be the guinea pig and the formula for how everything should go.
And like you said, we can have a much more controlled environment as opposed to a gigantic stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And, some will say, well, that's because nobody wants to fucking come to indie wrestling, or that's all you could get, or whatever. Like, that's irrelevant. Like, we can have a controlled atmosphere and, to where we could say, hey, you have to move further apart. Hey, you can't be there. Hey, put your mask up. Like, you could literally walk around to every single person and say, put your mask up. Because, the cap right now in Indiana is mass gatherings, 250 people. We set our tickets under that at 200, and which we've already sold well over 100 as of this recording. So, we're trying to even lower it under what we're allowed to have, just for even more safety precautions at this time, as opposed to Ohio, where the mass gathering limit is 10. So it's just it's a huge difference. There's been several wrestling events in Indiana that have been properly social distanced. There's a way to do this. And, as far as I know, there's been no evidence of any sort of COVID outbreaks at any of these events that have happened. Everyone has followed, the protocols because they do want wrestling back. They do want entertainment back. They do want, something else to do because, when all you can do is just turn on the news and see COVID-19, like, people want an escape, and there's been no forms of entertainment, to escape to. They're not making new movies. They're not making new TV shows. It's nothing. It's like we're living in this weird box right now.
Yeah. And, it'd be one thing if we were doing an indoor show and even with a mask on, whatever particles go in the air and people are screaming and shouting because they're excited. And so there's more of a risk. I get that. But what we're talking about is trying to do an outdoor show, which is something that we want to do. And that's a much safer environment. And again, you can spread people out.
And the thing is like, listen, like, this is the only time that we can do it because it could be snowing as soon as October.
Yep.
So it's like a now or never thing. And I mean, we have to worry about the rain, obviously, which is what we have to worry about every year for Wrestle Rager around this time. Mm-hmm. If it rains, it rains. Like, I don't know what to say about that right now because that's like, there's so many other concerns. Yeah. But, I just want to prove that we can do it and we can do it safely. We have such a great infrastructure. At least we did. When we were doing events. I don't know how it's going to go, with this thing, but, we have so many students and, that know what to do and know how to, control the room as far as, different tasks and things like that. And I really think that we have a crew that can get this done, maybe even more so than some of the other shows that have been happening, because we do have this school that is full of students that can really help enforce the rules as opposed to, leaving it all up to the ring announcer to say like, hey, put your mask on. We'd have people that can go around and like say like, hey, you have to do this, or, if you want this to happen, you have to put your mask back up. You have to, respect the rules. And that's really what, we're not trying to break any rules here, like we're just, we're trying to do it the right way. And, it's needed. And like I said, I'll say it a million times. If you do not like that we're doing an event, you do not have to come. I understand that you have your concerns, or, you have a health risk of some sort. Like, we're not asking you to come. You could stay home. We're working on a fight, iPay-per-view package, possibly, some sort of streaming offer. Just, understand that we have to do this, and we have to try something. And if we fail at it, and we're back into hiding for 6 months where we can't do anything, so be it. But I think that we can pull it off, and I have a lot of faith in the AIW crew and the whole team to make sure this gets done, and this gets done properly. And honestly, we get to, we all want to see our friends. We want to see, not only our friends that are in the crowd, but, we're coming up, at that point, it will be like 8 months or something since we have seen a lot of the AIW roster. Steve, you and I haven't even been around each other since February,
Yeah.
So, we're still like, we're recording this remotely. So, it's I haven't seen too many people. I know you haven't seen too many people.
Yeah.
And it just, listen, like I said, if you are against it, I 100% respect your viewpoint, but please understand my viewpoint. That's all I'm asking. I don't want to turn this into a debate like we've seen on the AIW Facebook page every time we've surveyed any sort of question concerning events. It's just, this was something that I felt that we could not pass up on because, like I said, it could be snowing by October. So it's like, really, we have a month to, if we're going to try something outdoors safely, this was the time to pull the trigger on it.
And also, don't publicly shame events and people putting events on, and then slide into text messages saying that you're going to be at the show.
Hey, I told you we're not getting into the potato saga, and that's a whole other thing. And I'm not gonna be accused of podcast bullying and everything else that I've been accused of over the last 3 months. But
I can't wait. I'm gonna get a Snapchat about that one right there, or maybe a text even. We'll see.
But listen, like, I get it. Like, some people don't think it's safe,
which is
but like you said, if you don't think it's safe, don't also say that you'll have your ref bag available and you're going to be in the parking lot.
So the show, of course, is aptly named. I assure you, we're open. Which, by the way, you don't remember this, but this is a name that you came up with previously as well.
I didn't know that. Like, I know that there was a time, so, to kind of go back to this, in May, we were told the Athletic Commission was going to meet in early June. So we felt, as much as everybody felt, like the world was going to get ready to open for the summer again.
Yeah.
So we started trying to come up with a plan, and then, that quickly became a nothing meeting, and it's like, okay, we'll see you guys in July. So then it's like, okay, well, now it's like we can't, we can't come back with like Gauntlet and all this other stuff if there's going to be rules, and like,
right.
So then it's like, well, what can we name the show? And there were a lot of good potential comeback names. I don't remember coming up with this one then, but it was in my head the other night, and I was like, I don't know where that phrase is from and why it's in my head. And I had to like Google it, and I was like, of course, Clerks. Like, me and Matt Wadsworth watched this movie a fucking 100 times when we were teenagers. And I was like, and that's why it was in my brain. But it was like just, it kept coming into my head, and like, there were some really good ones, which, we'll probably save for the second comeback after COVID. But because as of right now, this is a one and done situation. But yeah, I don't know. There were a lot, like, the witty show names were aplenty as when it came to the comeback show.
Yes, yeah. This was one that you did have along with this and Dom's was my favorite, but we'll save that one in case we end up using it.
Oh, I got a feeling we're gonna have to, we'll have another comeback show because, like I said, this is a one and done thing, and maybe possibly we can set something up in October. Maybe there's a vaccine. Maybe Ohio loosens up. Maybe it all gets under control. There's so much uncertainty now just as much as there was in March. So, it's just kind of crazy. But, the way I look at it is, in March, I was sent home from work. A lot of people were sent home from work. And now, a lot of people at least are back to work. And there's no talk of shutting works down again, So it's like, okay, like if I'm going forward, then I think a lot more of the world is going forward. So let's just let's figure it out, Like if my job has to figure out a way to go forward, and this person's job has to figure out a way to go forward, like there's no reason why AIW can't figure out a safe way to go forward as well. Like it seems to be the way the world is going.
And in order to go forward, sometimes you have to go backwards, which is what is happening on Thursday night on IWTV.
Oh, look at that segue.
Thank you. At 8 p.m., you can stream for the first time the Absolute debut, AIW's debut show on IWTV, 8 p.m. on Thursday. If you are not an IWTV subscriber, you can try it out just to watch the show, and I'm sure you're going to want to stick around for everything else that IWTV has to offer. Use the code ABSOLUTE for a 5-day free trial. Not a lot planned, though, as we talk about. I assure you, we're open. If someone's looking for storylines to continue or move forward, then probably not, right?
Well, I'm going to try to pick up a little bit from where we left off.
Okay.
Obviously we're not running out of the gate with a no ropes barbed wire match. Sorry, guys. Like some people were like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, no ropes barbed wire." Like, listen, like
safety.
I know we're moving forward. I know we're moving forward and all that, but like, I just don't know about throwing the no ropes barbed wire out there in the middle of all this. Like, I think that's pushing it, to say the least. But I am going to try to utilize our crew. For the most part, like it's not going to be, well, this guy's there, so I'm going to book him, even though he's never been booked before. You can expect a true blue, just up and down AIW show, no matter what. I mean, that's the goal first and foremost. There's not just going to be these random ass matches for having random ass matches, So with that being said, I feel that both of the shows are going to be completely different. Obviously, you will have your crossover talents that have started with GCW in recent months, but a lot of those guys were AIW guys. So that would probably be the only crossover, I would think. You're not going to see a GCW guy that's never been in AIW before just be in AIW because it's that day. So I think that's going to be very appealing for our show and their show, to be perfectly honest. So, if you're coming, you're probably going to want to go to both because you're going to see two completely different products. It's not going to be like, 6 hours of the same exact stuff. So, I am trying to keep it as AIW centric as possible. There will be some probably continuations of some storylines, even though we don't know where we're going from here. I just don't want to be like, okay, like let's retcon all that. It didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like you can easily just go on Independent Wrestling TV and watch the last, 3 shows and, see where we were going. So will we throw some of those possible WrestleMania weekend matches out there? Maybe, like there has to be me sitting down and actually ironing out numbers, which I have not done yet because, like I said, this whole thing came together really quickly. The only person that was booked officially was Justice because he has two championships and Fonzie, in which Fonzie has, I feel, texted me every single day during the quarantine. So,
which for those who did not know or see the announcement, Fonzie has re-upped. That's
a shoot too. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, Daddy, you think I could get another 1-year verbal contract?" And I was like, "Sure, man, sign it. Another year, no shows, Fonzie. Let's do
it." So, Bill Fonzie Alfonso back in the AIW fold for another year, whatever that year looks like.
He will for sure be in Indianapolis. on September 6th. The only other regular that I like really reached out to was Swoggle, because he's somewhat, I mean, he's as close as we are to that area, but he has a show the day before. So, with us starting at noon, it's just probably not feasible for him to be able to make it. Cause there's not going to be a lot of flights that are coming in, super early. So I've pretty much ruled Swoggle out for this one, but other than that, nothing has really officially been booked. I've come up with a couple blueprints, and, I'm moving things up and down and seeing what works. Cause I don't want to be like, hey, you're booked. And then like, be like, oh fuck, I got this other idea. And then be like, you're not booked, so,
so don't get too excited yet, Trey Lamar.
Yeah, he'll probably be booked. He'll probably be booked. I mean, like I said, I'm going with the team. I'm going with the home team for the most part.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a matter of seeing what fits and seeing what doesn't fit, and then we go from there. But, yeah, it's just like nothing is officially booked and like I said, as of this recording, the first hour, like we sold like 60% of the tickets, and they haven't even gone, they hadn't even gone out to the general public yet. That was just off Patreon and the email list. So, if you want a ticket, you have to get it. You have to get it soon. General admission, I can tell you, is already almost sold out. And then, there's a couple here and there, like cluster tickets and things like that. But, yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't believe it, because I didn't know how it was going to go. We are, like I said, over 4 hours away from our home base. But, the AIW faithful, it seems are really, they're really showing up in numbers, on September 6th, which is awesome, because, they could have very easily just stayed home, because they all know it's going to probably stream somewhere.
And which, by the way, if money is tight, it is for a lot of people. And so you don't want to sign up for Patreon, and you need that $5, $10 a month for something else. Totally understandable, especially with what's going on right now. But it costs you nothing to be on the AIW email list. So if right now you're like, well, shit, I'm not on either one of those, you can get on the email list, because this may happen again. We may have another comeback show. You don't want to miss out. And on the off chance that suddenly there are very little tickets available, at least next time around, you're on the email list, and you can be one of the people who gets it first.
If you just go right to AIWrestling.com, there's a link to sign up for the email list right on the front page.
Yeah. As we wind down here, shout out to our guys over across the pond in the UK, we're part of the Discord, who I think will be streaming this on Fight.
Yeah, they've guaranteed at least one purchase, as long as we can work something out to get it on Fight.
Excitement there. AIW is international, folks, and this will be at noon, so was it 5 hour difference? I think.
I think he said
6 hours.
I think he said it'll be 5 p.m.
Okay.
In the UK.
Yeah. So there you go.
Which that is going to be a whole thing too. A noon start is going to be really different, honestly.
Yeah, for Wrestle Rager, we typically start setting up at 11 o'clock noon.
Well, no, because we do doors at 2 or 3 for Wrestle Rager. So, I mean, we get set up about 10, but
10, yeah.
It's going to be different, know, and like I said, you don't know what's going to happen with the elements and everything else. Everyone just, pray or do whatever it is. Pray for no rain, but, yeah, it's going to be different. But, I was also thinking, if the NFL goes forward, mm-hmm. I believe it starts the week after this. So a lot of people are probably going to be getting in that mode to be, getting up and ready for the NFL games. So, it's kind of cool to kind of be in that, first game of the day sort of slot. Maybe people will be doing some tailgating, and hopefully we can kind of deliver that Wrestle Rager-esque party vibe, for a Sunday afternoon.
Will we be getting will we be getting CBS's A Team to call this one, like the NFL? With that 1 o'clock.
I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna get the AIW A Team of Matt Wadsworth and Brian Carson.
Okay. which is exciting. That's and the Duke's gonna be upset that you just called Carson and Wadsworth the A Team and not him. You realize
the
that,
Duke?
Right?
The Duke has already booked himself a room, and I don't even know if he's on the card yet. He also booked a flight in which he almost chartered a private jet for $5,000.
You've now fired him up twice in a matter of 30 seconds to a minute.
He's he's got to take a he's got to take a flight for the 4-hour-ish drive, which will have a layover on it, I'm sure, to get to Indianapolis. But he was looking at a $5,000 direct private Learjet flight. But once I told him the cameras wouldn't be rolling when he landed, I don't think I think he just went with the Delta flight with the layover in Detroit.
I would love and appreciate the Duke and his Bitcoin boys being helicoptered in, just choppered in. And
maybe he's gonna get a chopper. I mean, we're gonna be in a big field. I don't know. He's definitely fired up about there being a show right now. I'll tell you that. And like I said, I don't even know if I don't know if him and the crew are booked. I gotta look at my depth chart for who's getting on the show and who's not getting on the show.
Well, he'll be there.
And I've already told the students, like, hey, listen, not everyone's going to be on this, so let's not all get too excited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that does it for this episode. We threw a lot at you guys, but it's good to be back in this form. John, are we doing this again anytime soon?
So I think we'll at least try to do a podcast every Monday leading up to the show. And then I don't know, we'll see. It really depends on what happens. I know that Governor DeWine is supposed to make some sort of edits or whatever to the sports order, in which prevents us from doing anything. We were saying, there's a lot of pressure from high school and college sports, and pro wrestling is it was named in the executive order. So there's a lot of, speculation that based on the pushback from, all those people in the community, that they may make a change. So, we could fall into that change. There's a lot that can happen over the next month. So I feel that at least, keeping the conversation going, so to speak, and keeping people aware of what's happening with this show. We'll try to do one every single Monday, like the old days, and then who knows? Maybe we can set a show up in Ohio by the time this show happens, or something else gets presented to us. So I don't know. We'll do. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, we can we'll roll every Monday and until that show, and at the very least, we know we can do the Monday after with a review show. But
it might be the Monday after, because the show is on Sunday.
Oh, right.
And then Monday is Labor Day. Yeah. So
you'll get a pre-recorded
we're probably going to stay. We're probably staying in Indianapolis on Sunday, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Monday will probably be a recovery day, because, I mean, listen, even though there's been no after parties and I don't know what the bar rules are, when all of us get together in that environment, there's going to be a party to be had around 4 p.m. when the show's over. So I just don't see us being able to get a pod done and uploaded by Monday morning.
You guys might get an old interview or something that's banked. We still have we still have shows that we have not reviewed yet and gone back to.
Well, like I was saying, like the whole shutdown thing and everything, it just got so depressing, and it's just like, what am I like? And it's just like, what am I going to go on and talk about this for when we have nothing for people to look forward to? And that's kind of what I feel the whole purpose of this podcast is, it's not only to be transparent and, really kind of connect with our fan base, but it's also to be like, well, this thing is also coming down the road, and this thing is also what we all collectively have to look forward to. And there was nothing to look forward to. It was like, if we weren't doing this show in Indianapolis, there would be no light at the end of the AIW tunnel right now, So it was just kind of like, I don't know, like I could not get myself motivated and excited to go talk about AIW and wrestling when I knew that there was no hope of it coming back anytime soon.
Yeah.
But now, I'm at least feeling like, my brain is starting to work again, and I'm starting to feel a little back to normal.
You're a little rejuvenated here, for sure.
I feel a little rejuvenated, but I also drank a Monster before this, so
okay.
I don't know. It might be some of that too. It might be some of that too. I don't know.
Could be performance enhancers there.
That's the secret, podcasters. That's an energy drink is the PED of podcasting.
Oh, no doubt about it. I've been able to keep busy during all this stuff, which is great. But I put out on Twitter that
you got like 8,000 different side. You're like the guy that was in the band that now has released like 8,000 side projects. Like you got like you're like the guy that was like in some really famous band, and now you're like I'm going solo with my electronica band right now or something. You got a lot of different things going on.
I've never wanted to be a one-trick pony and try different things. I got my happy hour show and it's good. I did put out on Twitter that I need to start a Cameo so that I can do some people's intros and get back in the habit. I think I might be a little bit rusty on that, but I'm not famous enough for cameos, John. They haven't written me back yet that I could be a cameo talent.
Rest in peace, Shad Gaspard. Last year at WrestleMania weekend, at the AIW booth with Scott Steiner, Shad Gaspard came to the AIW booth and pitched and signed Scott Steiner up for cameo right there at the AIW booth at WrestleCon. And boy, was I excited because I knew what was to come. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm famous enough for cameo either. I don't think that anyone wants to get a message from me. I'm generally not that happy of a guy, so I don't think I could give you any sort of good message. Swoggle does them sometimes sitting down on my couch. He's done. Yeah. He's knocked a couple out.
Always good when you have to pick up Swoggle and he's like, remind me, I got to do 5 cameos.
He's such a fucking dickhead. He'll be like, hey, like he'll send me a screenshot and it's like the little Cameo app on his phone. He'll be like, got 19 cameo requests, brother. He's like, always working. Time to punch the clock. Like I'll be at work on Monday and he'll send me his little Cameo screenshot. He'll be like, I'm punching in. And then like 10 minutes later, he'd be like, punching out for the day. Because he's done his 19 30-second videos. He did deny Nick Sanka's cameo request.
What an asshole! That's unbelievable.
He thought it was some Nick Sanka's. They both screenshotted me at the same time. One was Nick Sanka request to Hornswoggle for a cameo, and Swoggle's screenshot text to me was denying Nick Sanka's cameo request. And I was like, we should just start a group chat or something because you guys are just both talking to me about the same fucking exact thing.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe people can send me some PayPal or something. I don't know what I'll do. I'm happy to do it. There have been some people interested, and I have no problem doing rando intros and things for. Man, I'm not above that for $5 or $10.
Jake Bird wants to be introduced as the third member of To Infinity and Beyond.
Yeah. I bet he does. So yeah. Oh, hey, congrats to Swoggle, I guess, as we talk about running shows back. Good for him. He got to run.
He's run a couple. He's run a few, actually.
Is it a couple now?
Yeah, and because Wisconsin they kind of loosened up a little earlier.
Mhm.
So, that's good. That's been good for him
Familiar
because,
face dropped in
just
there
like
this
us,
weekend, though.
yeah, Mr. Brian Myers was a surprise in their Rumble at ACW Wisconsin this weekend. Yeah, it was, for him, he's kind of similar to us to where he has like a school and a promotion and, you gotta, you're obligated because these people are paying you money to provide a school and then eventually a show for them to work their way up to. So, he was feeling a lot of the pressure too. Plus, just think about, I know people think like wrestling is like this bullshit part of, the world or the economy or whatever you want to call it. But like, think about a guy like him, right? Who is booked every weekend for, at least a few $100s, multiple days of the weekend.
Yeah.
And he goes to nothing, for 6-7 months. The financial impact on that is, it's crazy. And, a guy at his level is, obviously having to pay taxes and claiming income and all these other things. So, it's just like people don't understand the complete economics of wrestling, which, it is kind of like the gig community or whatever you want to call it. But, some of these guys have lost out on astronomical amounts of money.
Sure.
And they have kids, like Swoggle has Landon. He has a house to pay for. He has a kid to pay for. And, things were getting really, really rough for him, to where, he was like looking like he thought that, he was going to have to go and get some sort of job or something because he's running out of money. So,
those Muppet residual checks.
Oh,
don't take you everywhere.
They ain't all they're cracked up to be, but he loves he loves sending me a picture when he gets that Leprechaun Origins check in the mail every quarter. He sends it to me every time. But yeah, if you could support these people through merch or cameos or whatever the fuck it is, like do it because just because AIW is coming back to do a show, that's one show compared to where a lot of these people were doing, 10, 20, 30 shows a month. Mm-hmm. And, now, they got nothing. So, you just gotta support these guys any way they can, and girls, like someone like Alley Cat, she was working all the time. And, now, she's like maybe doing one or two a month now, if you could find it. And it's like, people are struggling, like people got bills to pay, regardless of if you think that their profession is below you or laughable, a profession of an independent wrestler, it's a profession. And, they have to pay their bills too.
Yep. Well said. It's a great ending point there, John Thorne. Look, so we'll be back at least for the next month, doing these every Monday for you. Don't forget, tune in this Thursday at 8 p.m. on IWTV for the absolute debut, AIW's very first show, streaming for the first time on IWTV or anywhere, really, at 8 p.m. And, any other closing final thoughts here?
No, I mean, if you can support the show on September 6th, whether it's by buying a ticket or by streaming it and wherever it lands. Like I said, there's things are kind of in motion on that. And also, this is a weird thing, but a few fans have reached out and said like, hey, can we sponsor part of the show or do something like that? By all means, if you want to PayPal AIW money, go for it. Friends and family, AIW at AIWrestling.com. Not asking for it, but some people have inquired, so I figured I would throw it out there.
What do you think? I'm going to throw this out here. What do you think about this? I mean, maybe we could come up with a tier system or something off air, but just something to get people excited about, because we will be streaming. We're going to have the A team of commentators there. However you view the A team, folks, whether it's Matt Wadsworth and Brian Carson, or Matt Wadsworth and the Duke, whatever form, but we will have A1 and A2 commentary teams. Both will be there. If somebody wants to sponsor a match let's say, could the commentary team then be like, all right, now it's time for, whoever versus
Absolutely.
whoever. This is brought to you by this person.
Absolutely, but you don't get to book it. You don't get to pick the participants. It's just you're getting a
Yeah,
match on the show.
yeah, but you're helping us, and we'll give you that shout out for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we could figure something out, but more. I'll say more than like 5 people have reached out asking if they could just send us money after we announce the show because they can't come, but they want to send money towards the show because they know that it's going to be a reduced capacity. By all means, we will accept it because God knows we need it.
There you go. There you have it, folks. Look, we'll do this again. Like I said, thank you so much for tuning in this week. It's been a long time. For John Thorne, my name's Steve Guy, and so happy to tell you that we'll talk to you next week right here on AIW's The Card is Going to Change.
Thanks.